Hello and welcome to the Rainy Night Listens podcast. I'm Hailey,
And I'm Wyatt.
and this is the podcast that you save for a rainy night instead of a rainy day.
We also not only post on YouTube, but Apple Podcasts, TikTok, and Instagram. So make sure to check those out as well.
Alrighty, today we are going to be talking about the Encephalitis Lethargica Epidemic. I had never even heard of this until recently. Have you ever heard of it?
I have no clue what this is.
Okay. I saw it on TikTok.
I know what lethargic means, but I don't know what encephalitis is.
Well, you're gonna learn today. But yeah, I saw it on TikTok, and whenever I saw it, I was kind of shocked that I had never heard of it before. So,
It's one of those things where you're like, oh,
yeah.
this is one of those things that went right under everyone's radars.
Yeah.
That's fair. TikTok has a tendency to dig those up, don't they?
It really does. It kind of makes sense, though, because the time that this took place was in the middle of World War One, in the middle of the Spanish influenza epidemic.
So it got way shadowed over.
We're all taking place at the exact same time. But I was still shocked that I had never heard of it.
Oh man, the Encephalitis Lethargica Epidemic. What should we do about? Bro, we're still dealing with the Spanish flu. What do you mean?
Yeah, you'll see. So, it is believed that this epidemic began in 1915 in Romania. And the way that they think it was spread was through the movements of troops during World War One. And then things that also contributed to its spreading was people having very close living conditions. Like everyone lived very closely to one another. And the increase in global travel overall during that time. They believe that those were all kind of factors that fed into it, but that the troops' movement during World War One was like the main driving factor, is the current theory on it. Yeah. It didn't officially reach epidemic status until 1917 in Vienna, Austria, when it was very first described.
1917. You know what was also happening around 1917?
World War One and the Spanish influenza.
That was near the time when the corpse of a certain unnamed individual was being paraded around at Wax Museum. Remember?
Oh my gosh, Elmer McCurdy!
Yeah, Elmer McCurdy.
Dude,
a terrible time to be alive.
Seriously,
terrible time to be dead too.
Insane time period.
People were just psychotic.
I did not even think about that.
I don't know what happens during the epidemic, but
nothing good.
Oh, okay.
It is believed that the disease was around prior to 1915, but it just hadn't been specifically described by scientists before that point. In 1918, cases began appearing in England and France.
Oh my gosh.
And in 1919, cases appeared in Canada, Central America, India, Asia, and the United States.
What? Okay. Now I'm really like, I get it was shadowed over, but like
literally global. A worldwide epidemic.
It's a global epidemic.
In 1920, it appeared in Germany and the Soviet Union. And it lasted all the way until the 1930s when it just suddenly disappeared.
That's great. That's really great.
During this time...
Another great side effect of World War.
Dude, it's insane.
It's so bad.
It is estimated that 1 million people became infected, and around 500,000 of those people died. So, like, a 50%
death rate, yeah.
Yeah. And then another estimated 200,000 people were left with lifelong disabilities.
Oh my gosh.
Which we'll talk about it a little bit more, but it was one of the theories was that this disease like piggybacked off of the Spanish flu.
Okay.
But that ended up being disproven.
Oh.
So it was like a completely separate disease that was
That's
running rampant at
insane.
the same time.
That's absolutely insane.
So what is it?
Yeah, what?
Encephalitis lethargica, also known as sleeping sickness, sleepy sickness, or von economoencephalitis, was described.
Could you refer to it as that for the rest of the video?
No.
Darn. Sorry.
Listen, you're lucky I'm pronouncing all
Sorry.
of these words as well as I
This is
am.
my bad.
I'm just kidding.
No, you're good.
It was first described by neurologist Constantine von Economo and pathologist Jean-René Cruchet in 1917. The first gentleman, Constantine von Economo, was in Vienna, and he was getting all of the cases and everything and was writing up papers and described it. And within a few days of each other, him and Jean-René Cruchet, who was in France studying it separately, both submitted and published papers about this new disease that was coming up.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. It is an inflammatory brain disease that is usually accompanied by lesions that develop in specific parts of the brain. There are two main phases of the disease: the acute phase and the chronic phase. The acute phase typically presents with the following symptoms: fever, sore throat, headaches, lethargy, which is fatigue, sluggishness, and overall lack of energy, delayed responses, both physically and mentally, sleep inversion, which is being awake at night and sleeping during the day. These symptoms were usually followed by involuntary twitching, rigidity, lack of movement, and extreme sleepiness. It was reported that people would sleep up to 20 hours per day.
Oh my goodness.
And if they were awoken, they would very quickly fall back into a deep sleep.
It's like, it sounds very polar opposites. It's like twitching and rigidity. Like,
Yeah.
you never hear about both of them at the same time. And the fact that people are sleeping all day still doesn't. That's crazy.
It was a lot of really weird neurological stuff that was happening with people.
A little too deep in there for, at the time, things to be fully figured out, I feel like. Yeah. That's crazy.
In more serious cases, additional symptoms included being in a coma-like state, rapid eye movements, compulsive screaming, mimicking of speech, and psychosis, which would include hallucinations and delusions. The chronic phase would take months or even years to show up after the onset of encephalitis lethargica. This phase is characterized by the development of post-encephalitic Parkinsonism. During this phase, those who were suffering would basically turn into human statues. They were aware of what was going on around them, but they were unable to respond to stimuli or to initiate movement on their own. Strangely, though, they could move if it was reflexive. For instance, if a ball was thrown to them,
They could catch it.
catch it, but then they wouldn't move anymore.
So it's like I swear there are gears turning in my head right now. I just can't like articulate the words to explain how it's like willing motions. Willing, like moving your hands, walking, things like that, but unwilling
like consciously
motions.
moving
Yeah.
your body, they
Your
weren't able
normal
to
motor
do it.
functions did not work. But things where it was like your brain like telling you like just like reflexes like you said.
Yeah.
That's not willing I'd say it's not willing. I mean, you could choose to not do it if you know what's happening, but I feel like reflexes are like I said, a little bit deeper in there. Like I feel like your brain
Yeah.
sends that signal before it. Like it's not a you think about it and do the motion. The motion just happens.
Yeah.
I don't. It's hard to explain, but you know what I mean, right?
No,
It's like
yeah, I get what you're
reflexes run a
saying.
little bit deeper.
Like, if you don't have to, if you're not thinking about the thing that you're doing, it's just suddenly happening and your body is just reacting to it.
Yeah, because I feel like reflexes can kind of be like categorized as unwilling motions sometimes.
Yeah.
Not always. I mean, there are times when your brain's in sync with it at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
but there are times I feel like reflexes could be like, like you turn and there's a ball flying towards you. Your arm's gonna like try to reach for it as fast as it can,
Yeah,
even
to
if you're
try to
like not
protect
thinking
yourself
about,
and
yeah,
not.
like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's interesting. I feel like it might be a different kind of signal being sent or something in your brain versus
Yeah. Well,
like fine motor functions or something. I don't know.
yeah. Well, like, I know that. So, your brain can send signals to your limbs to move,
Mm-hmm.
but so can your spine. So,
Oh,
like, if you are touching a stove, if you touch the stove, that signal will go through your spine and then back out to your arm to get you to pull away from it before it fully gets up to your brain that you're touching a hot stove.
really?
Yeah, because
Huh.
it's if it's going to cause like
Yeah, it's
damage like that,
the body protecting
yeah,
itself.
I'm not explaining it very well, but I remember learning it in my anat and phys class
Hmm.
in college. But yeah, so like whenever it comes to things like that, it runs through your spine and then comes right back out versus I mean it also goes up to your
Yeah,
brain
but
because then
it's
you process everything, but
but there
it needs it to happen faster in order for you not to just stand there with your
sit there
hand
and
on
sear
there.
your hand the
Like,
whole
yeah,
time.
because it's still not going to be very long if it goes up to your brain and back, but the difference is just long enough that it'll actually cause a lot more damage
Yeah.
than if you didn't.
That's interesting because that would make a lot more sense because if this is messing with their like you said, it's neurological. If it's just a signal that just comes full circle before it fully like it reaches your brain still, probably within like fractions of a second. Like, the way things happen in your brain is like
Yeah.
stupidly quick, but that's
Mhm.
interesting. I didn't know that like some signals can like hit and come back before it comes to your
Yeah.
brain.
It's
That
kind of crazy.
because that makes sense that it would just kind of like skip past that.
Yeah, that if it's something that needs to happen that quick that it wouldn't like by the time it runs up to their brain, it makes it so then they can't move afterwards because now they're thinking about it.
Yeah, because it's basically like I'm thinking of it like I'm trying to simplify it down. Like the pathways in your brain that send out those signals are blocked,
Mm.
but if that signal is already being sent out or like rebounded, then it's a different story. Like reflexes. I don't know. It's hard to think through. I'm not smart enough to
Me
say
neither.
it,
It's
but
okay.
but I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. It's crazy though.
That is crazy.
They would also lose all ability to make any facial expressions.
Oh.
So they said it was almost like they'd be like wearing a mask of themselves
Like
because
this.
no matter
Okay.
what was happening, yeah, it was just a blank stare. Or whenever they did develop like rigidity and being unable to like move their body on their own, if you moved one of their limbs, they wouldn't put it back down.
Really? Like
Yeah.
even if they got too like if their arms would get
Mhm.
tired, they would just
It just
stay. Just imagine like holding your arms straight out, like fully extended in front of you. Eventually,
yeah.
if you keep holding it out, your arm's just gonna start like slowly sinking down.
Which I guess maybe that did happen, but
No, but yeah, you know what I mean.
they wouldn't put it back down voluntarily,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, like sadly, at the time of it happening, there's probably not very many good documentations of the things. I mean, what we've got is what we've got, but
Well, it's actually insane because there were over 9,000 papers written during the time that this took place.
Uh-huh.
But there's still no explanation for why it happened or what caused it or anything.
And it just stopped.
Yeah. It's so weird.
I hate it.
We're going to take a break from this for a second
Uh-huh.
and jump over to Hagen's historical word of the day. Hagen. 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 Hagen.
John.
Jacob.
Jingle.
Heimer.
Smith.
His
name
is
my
name
to
whenever
he
goes
out
the
people
always
shout
there
goes
John
Jacob
Jingle
Heimer.
Schmidt.
Da.
Da, 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 da. Oh, sorry. I thought we were gonna do that. I ruined it. I'm so
cutting
sorry.
that.
I'm just cutting that whole thing out. You ruined it.
The whole thing ruined.
Ruined. Oh. I was gonna say because I noticed in the first two pictures their eyes were like looking up.
Yeah, so that is another part or another symptom that would occur is their eyes would just keep on rolling like back in their heads over and over
It's
again.
kind of similar to like falling asleep, how your eyes just instinctively like
Yeah, or they would just be staring up like
the whole time.
nonstop. And so before they went to like having no facial expressions whatsoever, they would get almost stuck with their mouths just hanging open like this and they wouldn't be able to like close them or do anything like that.
Huh. But they could still breathe.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's one of those things where it's like breathing is still instinctive. Would they still be blinking the whole time?
I would imagine so.
I would too. I mean, it never said nobody went blind from it, but
yeah. It did cause double vision and things like that before their eyes would just get like stuck doing a certain thing, but so it did kind of mess with their vision a bit, but I didn't see anything about them being able to like or not being able to blink or anything like that.
Because it just makes me think, like I said, going back to the reflexes thing, willing motions versus unwilling motions.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time you're not breathing manually or blinking manually until someone reminds you that you're breathing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, now you're breathing manually because you're thinking about it. Same with reflexes. Sometimes it just happens before your brain thinks. So it makes me wonder if it really was just like the part of your brain that sends out the willing motions is what was doing it. Because if they're still blinking, breathing, and sometimes reflexes still work. I don't know. Someone out there is going to tell me I'm stupid. But
we're all a little dumb.
We're all a little special. We say things that probably don't make sense sometimes.
In children who had this disease, during the chronic phase, they were observed to develop more mental changes. So this would include personality changes, self-mutilation, cruelty to others, and inappropriate and excessive sexuality. It was reported that any assaults or harmful behaviors seem to be performed out of impulse rather than any selfish reasons that those things may have occurred.
I'm going to assume it's talking about like teenagers for part of that because that would make more sense.
I guess children, the age range it gave was like 5 to 17.
Okay.
It said that like patients would show genuine remorse for what they had done, but that they were unable to control their actions. And so it was like any impulse control was completely out the window.
Yeah, you just lose control of your body.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Most survivors who suffered from the chronic phase ended up in asylums or other care facilities where they lived out the rest of their lives.
Asylums.
Yeah,
I hate I hate certain time periods.
me too. The last living survivor of this epidemic was a man named Philip Leather, who in 1931, at the age of 11, was diagnosed with encephalitis lethargica. He passed away in 2002 in a hospital where he had lived his entire life.
Wow. Was he still technically diagnosed with it up until
Hmm.
his death, or was it like a just dealing with the aftermath of it?
Well,
I yeah,
so
I guess if you're dealing with the aftermath, it's still technically.
yeah,
I don't know how medical
he's.
terms work.
Oh no, you're good. So encephalitis lethargica is the disease that was contracted,
Mm,
and the symptoms of it are
yeah.
what.
So if you're still experiencing the symptoms, you still technically have the
Yeah,
disease.
like
Okay.
it's an incurable disease.
Okay.
And so, yeah, but how insane is that?
That is insane. Why isn't this person talked about more? Or at least
Right?
brought to attention? If they lived till 2002, that's like way too recent for this thing to feel like it was swept under the rug for some
Yeah.
reason.
There have been many theories about the exact cause of this disease. One is that it was caused by the Spanish influenza epidemic that took place around the same time. This belief was held because there had been reports during other influenza outbreaks of similar sleepy sicknesses that arose after people had been infected with influenza. However, the symptoms never fully matched those of encephalitis lethargica. There were also later studies performed that looked into the outbreaks of each, and there was no consistency on when they occurred. So, an outbreak of Spanish influenza would be happening over here, and then
Hmm.
at the same time, encephalitis lethargica would be breaking out in a different area. So it didn't look like they were really piggybacking off of one another.
Yeah, if
They
it was
would be
separate
happening in
locations.
separate places.
Okay.
Studies on preserved brain tissue from those infected at the time didn't show any trace of the influenza virus in them
Hmm.
either. Another hypothesis is that it was possibly caused by a form of enterovirus, which is a group of viruses that are also like the causes of other neurological disorders, so polio, meningitis, things
Hmm.
like that. In 2012, scientists used preserved brain tissue samples and were able to find virus like particles that slightly resembled those of the same type of virus that causes polio.
Hmm.
So they were able to find some that resembled a different type of
Yeah,
enterovirus.
that makes sense.
Hmm.
Makes you wonder if it kind of just changed or rolled over
Yeah.
or just changed incorrectly and just got so maybe people get lucky and the virus itself just I don't think it was a virus. I don't know how do neurological diseases work? Is that still like a virus or
Yeah, so
I'm
this next part, it kind of helps explain it a little bit because another theory is that it was just an autoimmune response to like a strep infection. So like
mm,
strep throat.
mm-hmm.
They think that in some people, maybe their body's response to whatever's infecting them is such a severe response that it ends up attacking itself too
Oh.
and causes like brain swelling. So, like, there's a virus called the Epstein-Barr virus,
Mm,
which can cause people to develop it's multiple sclerosis. That's what it is.
mm,
Which it is also like a neurological disorder. And
mm-hmm.
so there are some viruses that can cause lifelong disorders after someone's been infected with them before.
Interesting. It's just I
If
don't know. It's so confusing. It just
that's I feel like I remember learning that the blood-brain barrier is a really hard thing to cross. Like our body's nervous system is a very hard thing to like infiltrate whenever it comes to like bacteria and viruses.
Mm-hmm.
But there are those ones that have evolved to be able to do that. And so whenever that does happen, it causes a lot of damage to
Yeah,
how we function
because
because
okay,
it's
so
such a touchy system
the
anyways.
blood-brain barrier is like kind of the concept of like it being in your blood, but it being able to get into your actual brain tissue from
Mhm.
there is really hard to cross. Whereas like
Yeah.
other diseases that just get from your blood into your body is a different story.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I could see that. That makes sense. I've never really thought much on how brain diseases could differ from body diseases. That's really cool. It's not cool at all, but it's really interesting to learn about.
Yeah, it's interesting to learn about. It's terrible for the people who have
Yeah.
been affected by it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you want to understand just because
Yeah.
the better we understand it is. I don't know. Sorry.
Well, the better we understand it, the more likely we are able to find ways to help combat it
Yeah.
or to help lessen the symptoms of those who have contracted these
Yeah.
diseases. So I agree. During the epidemic, there were over 80 treatments tested on patients, but none of them seemed to work. It wasn't until 1969 that a scientist used levodopa, which is a medication used to treat people with Parkinson's disease,
Mm-hmm.
and used it to treat people who were in the chronic stage of encephalitis lethargica. Initially, the treatments were a success, and people who hadn't moved for literal decades were suddenly able to get up and behave like normal.
Wow.
Like, the scientist who was doing it described the patients as going from dormant volcanoes to erupting with life, is how he had
Huh.
described it.
That's interesting. I bet I'd be bouncing around the room too if I
Yeah.
could. That's crazy. I'm glad some people were able to get motor
Well,
functions back. It's just said that it wasn't a, a full cure for it.
yeah. Sadly,
Oh.
after anywhere between a few weeks to a few months of being on the medication, they would begin to show a decline in their mental state and would begin developing tics
Oh.
and then would eventually fall back into their original state that they were in before they took the medication.
Gotcha. There's got to be something going on there, right? Like,
Yeah.
it seems so unlikely that something this bad showed up and disappeared for no reason.
It's so
It doesn't make
weird.
any sense at all.
Yeah. I,
The implications are terrible.
right? Well,
Yeah.
that's one thing is on almost every website that I was reading up on, almost all of them at the end talked about how if this epidemic comes back, how much trouble we're all in because there's no cure. Like we don't understand it enough to be able
Yeah.
to like properly treat it, properly prevent it
Mm-hmm.
or anything. And so it'd be devastating.
Yeah. That is insane. I don't know. I'd hope we'd be able to somewhat combat it better now, as far along as we are
Yeah.
as a
But
species medically.
initially, because we don't really have anything to go off of, so initially there really wouldn't
Yeah,
be
no,
anything to do about it until people started becoming infected with it again.
yeah, and you wouldn't know until you're just showing the symptoms, I guess, because if they don't know what transmits it,
Yeah. Well, like even during World War One, they were testing because they were using a lot of chemical warfare.
yeah,
They were testing the chemicals to see if they
that was
were
causing it.
possibly causing it, and they couldn't find any links there. And so there was a bunch of stuff that they went through to try to test to see what had caused it, and nothing like definitively was able to be linked to being the cause of this epidemic that took place.
That's insane. It just, I don't know. It makes no sense that it just shows up and disappears, and
Yeah, it's really weird.
it's one of those, and this is some dormant uh, you know, like bare bones primal thoughts, but it's like the world was in such a negative place that just negative things were happening.
Yeah,
It's not how it is. I mean,
every
it could be
terrible
how it is,
thing
but
that could be happening woke up and decided to
yeah, it's one of the.
happen.
It's like everybody was really stressed out all over the world, not just in certain places.
Yeah.
I know that's not how it
Well,
works,
that's fair
but
though, because if overall general health is down because of high levels of stress and
yeah.
everything, that already makes you more susceptible to catching an illness. And then combine that with how just brutal and terrible World War I was.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was all of like the trench
Yeah,
warfare.
that's when
Like
they
that
were
was
figuring out what's not okay.
horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm sure that something crazy got dug up and started spreading through everyone.
Yeah. It's just it's sad to think about have it happening at the same time as World War One
Yeah.
and the Spanish flu. It's
Dude,
just
it's so
a
much.
terrible time to exist. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want
It'd
it
be
to not
so.
exist. It's just it sucks that this is what people were going through at the time.
Yeah. One of the patients who had entered the chronic stage at the age of 12 was given the medication at the age of 49.
Oh my gosh.
He said he had returned to a sense of happiness that he hadn't felt in 30 years. But after a few weeks, he developed a sensitivity to the medication that was so bad that he couldn't even take micro doses of it, and he eventually fell back into the disease.
Yeah.
Another woman who had developed the disease around the age of 21 was given the medication. When she came to, she couldn't grapple with the fact that it was 1969 and not 1926. And she had severe mental health issues until she stopped responding to the treatments and fell back
It's
into
so
it.
dark. Like I said, it feels like the
It's
world was just in
so
such a bad,
sad.
evil place at the time that just makes me sound like extra religious saying that. But I don't know. I feel like negative. I'm gonna say negative energies makes me sound like a hippie, but negative energies just it spreads. It literally spreads. I
Yeah,
don't know what else. I don't know how else to word it to where I don't sound like superstitious about it, but like it's the truth. Negativity just breeds more
it
negativity,
really
and
does.
maybe just I don't know. I don't want to sound like I don't know. There's
You're
no.
good.
It's hard to word it in a way that doesn't sound like weird, but it's like negativity breeds more negativity, and it feels like it very well could go deeper than just how you feel on a daily basis. I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, it's so awful. And like those two made me feel so freaking sad.
Yeah, that's so
Because
depressing.
you literally have both ends of the spectrum. You've got one guy who was so elated and so happy that he had finally like felt like himself again, and then he just
Lost it.
and then you have the lady who couldn't come to terms with the fact
That she lost literally
43 years of her life,
yeah. It's
and so
sad.
she couldn't come to terms with that enough to even be able to slightly enjoy what little time she had before the
She
medication stopped working. Like, it's just so
it
devastating.
is.
It's like heartbreaking.
Man. I don't know, it's sad. You're glad it disappeared, but the fact that it showed up and disappeared just leaves it more feels more sinister than it being cured.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
it is weird. Currently, the main treatments for this disease include steroids to help assist with keeping brain swelling at a minimum,
Mm-hmm.
levodopa, which is the medication we had talked about that's used to treat Parkinson's
Yeah.
disease, and in some cases, electroconvulsive therapy, which is when a
Yeah, when they
patient,
shock like a part of your. It's not a part of your brain. It's just like muscles, right? Oh, it is a part of your brain.
yeah, so they'll put them under like a general anesthetic and they'll run small electrical currents through their brain that intentionally causes a brief seizure in their brain.
Oh.
And that's been found to
But that
help in
that
some
causes a lot of
cases.
movement going on. So it kind of, I don't know, maybe unblocks passages that were blocked. I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't make sense because if it's involuntary movement versus voluntary movement, I don't understand because it's probably the same lines from brain to body. I don't know. Or is it?
I feel
Is
like
there a
the
difference?
brain is such a complex
Yeah,
organ
exactly. It's
that,
like,
like, we run off of electricity, and so it's
yeah,
such a complex thing that a- apparently they've found that that can help. And so I feel like it's like the less barbaric form of electroshock therapy,
yeah, literally,
where it's not like some person was crying too much, so they decided to shock them into oblivion.
yeah,
It's very, it sounds a lot more controlled and intentional versus just being like, I'm sick of dealing with this kid, let's go shock him. And
yeah.
so I feel like
It's
it's
still,
still an insane treatment.
yeah, it's still something that seems just not at all like,
It sounds barbaric.
yeah, it literally shocking your brain to make your body move against its will, but or to make things stop doing
Or to
things or
make
make
it,
things start doing
it's almost
things
like you're
instead.
jump starting it.
Yeah, it is crazy. Like bare bones concept, your body runs off electricity, so let's shock it to see if we can get it to start moving again.
Yeah,
Literally jump starting
but
your brain.
but it has been shown to help in some cases, which is interesting.
That is interesting. Like I said, it just feels like there are blockages where you don't think there should be blockages, and like maybe like forcing those things to go through instead. Like I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. That's all.
Me
I don't
neither.
know enough to be able to like to theorize what could be or what couldn't be.
Me neither. Since the epidemic, there have been rare isolated cases of this disease that
Don't
have
say that.
popped up.
Don't be saying that.
Hey,
I'm kidding.
at least
At
they've been
least it's
isolated.
isolated. Yeah. Once
Um,
again, it makes you feel like. Sorry. Finish this and then I'll say my
oh
thoughts.
no, you're good. That's I couldn't find an exact number, but there were multiple websites that there have been around 80 cases of it since the epidemic occurred.
Leading
And
all the
that's,
way up to like present day,
yeah,
or was it like up to like a
like
certain day?
leading up to present day. There have only been about 80 reported cases of it again.
Did they give like a more most recent one date?
Not that I could find. I'm sure
Mm.
that it's listed somewhere, but from what I was looking at, I couldn't find like an exact number
Mm-hmm.
or any like lists or anything of it.
They just kept giving like approximate number. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
It's still not known what causes this disease. It isn't known what caused it to end, and there is no cure for it. And again, like I had said earlier, on almost every website I found, it talked about how much trouble we would be in if this ever made a comeback because of the lack of information that we have about the disease.
Yeah, we only have like understanding of how to make a person with chronic stages of it able to move again for like a couple weeks before they fall
Yeah.
back into it. I don't know. I'd hope with the level that we're at medically to nowadays as compared to back then, that there would be something to at least extend the time longer than however many weeks.
Me too.
I'd hope they'd find a way to branch out on that to be able to, like, cure it. Obviously, curing something is a lot harder than just making it go away for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I wish it was something that could be studied in depth, but if it's something that appeared and disappeared, you can't study that.
Yeah, it makes it really hard to be able to study that whenever... I mean, again, there were 9,000 papers published during the time, but...
Yeah, but during the time,
there
resources were a lot less
than what we have now.
Yeah. And people were in the middle of a world war where people thought that
and the Spanish
shooting you in a trench
epidemic.
from 10 feet away with a shotgun was okay. Like,
yeah.
It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Resources were directed elsewhere at the time, is basically what was happening. It's really sad.
Yeah. And
the Spanish flu epidemic.
Yeah. And there were limited brain specimens, like brain tissue specimens, that were kept from that time, and the way that they had preserved it kind of destroyed a lot of, like, the chemical makeup of things within their brains, and so it didn't preserve everything quite as well as would have been necessary to find out more information about it.
Yeah.
But again, they're doing what they could with what they had, and so yeah.
It's amazing to think that in the short time that I say short time, it's like, don't tell me, it was around, what, 70 years? Right? Because the last case was in, you said 1969?
1930.
1930 was the last case?
Yeah, it ended
so it only happened
it ended
for,
in, like, the early 30s.
Okay, so it started in, like, a 30-ish year span, like 20-something years, but people still had symptoms of it up until the 2002 was the latest, and then the weird isolated cases were... Yeah. It's amazing to think that in the amount of time that it was happening, people were finding ways to at least delay the effects for even 2 weeks. It's sad that it was only a delay of the effects, but the fact that they got that far that quick shows
that it can be treated.
It's something that can happen and that people were actively working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always two ways to look at something. It was really bad, but at the same time, it shows how much people were trying to actively work through it and fix it.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I agree. But yeah, hopefully more research can be done on it, and
hopefully
maybe someday we'll be able to know what caused it.
Yeah.
And be able to find a cure for it, because that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be amazing, and hopefully it never shows up again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. But that is all that I have. Definitely let us know your thoughts on it. We are super interested to hear about those.
Yeah. I'm sorry, real fast. Random thing that. What is encephalitis? That's just brain inflammation?
Yeah.
Okay, encephalitis, and then lethargica.
Yeah, because encephalitis itself is like its own disease. Too, and it's brain swelling.
Okay.
Gotcha. And then encephalitis lethargica was the specific disease
that caused
took place in that, or was the driver of that epidemic.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to clear the air.
No, you're good.
Terms are hard to understand. Usually, to my knowledge, itis means inflammation of whatever. Like, I don't know. Anyway, sorry. You can round off the video again. Sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, that is all for us. And until next time.
Bye.
Bye.